So we have a Bolens snowblower made by MTD. It's got the powermore 179cc engine on it. Going to show you what's going on with this, how to diagnose and repair it. Basically at this point all we're doing is getting some popping out of it as you pull it over. So it will not start. I'm going to show you the full diagnostic on this, and this is pretty much exactly the same as all the other MTD engines out there, from the MTD Pro all the way to some of the other Toro, Cub Cadet, Craftsman, Yard Machines models. All going to be exactly the same diagnostic. So this is the MTD Pro. Same engine, little different orientation. Some of them are rated 179cc, some are rated 208. Some of them have the quiet technology muffler. This is the newer design powermore. Essentially exactly the same things, though. They all kind of use the same block, same general things on them. This one here is one of the even newer ones than that. Super quiet when they run. Cub Cadet uses all of these engines on their different models. This is one of the earlier ones here, be the 208cc. Again, they're made by powermore for MTD. MTD private labels them most times. This one's labeled Cub Cadet. Many times they're labeled just MTD. Sometimes they're labeled powermore. It is similar to the Power Smart engine also. Again, kind of the same exact design on something like this. A little bit different though. They do different, you know, in this Toro Power Clear, kind of the same thing. Exactly the same engine, just a little bit different design. So these parts could interchange, you know, with one another, no problem whatsoever if you needed them to. So on this Bolens, first thing we like to do if we're getting some popping and cracking out of them, we like to go ahead and pull it over and make sure that we're getting sparks. So you can do that with either a spark tester, or you can do it by pulling the plug and putting it against the head. So as you pull it, you should get a green light if it's going good, or you should get actually spark. You should be able to see it against the block. So as we're doing it, let's go ahead and check it. So if you hear that popping noise going on, it's showing nothing right now. Let's see what we got. There it goes. It's saying low spark. It's probably because it's flooded up there. Yeah, I checked it at first. It's sparking low right now, or flashing low, but I checked it at first. Everything was good. Did go ahead and replace the plug. It looks like the customer's already done the carb, intake gaskets, flushed the fuel system and everything. It looks like good gas in it. I went back through here, made sure everything was good and sealed up, and the customer actually did a really nice job of doing that themselves. So they thought it was a carb issue, I'm sure, but as I'm trying to pull that over, what we're getting is we're getting some popping out of it. So you don't really... So if you're getting popping, normally obviously you're getting some sort of spark. I have seen it though where it's too small of a spark to fully combust, which is very strange, but it's kind of one of those issues that doesn't happen often. But if you can't see it well on that spark plug, replace the plug, you know, check out the coil, make sure. But if you're getting popping, you're getting some sort of spark, you know you're getting some sort of fuel because you're actually getting fire. So I'm gonna go ahead, since we've checked the spark, what you can do next if you're not sure if you're getting good fuel or not is you can actually throw some fuel up in here. So if you throw fuel in your intake, the intake on these sits right down through, kind of at a triangle piece right here. And if you spray just right there with some carb cleaner, that'll tell you you're for sure getting some fuel. So straight back through there is where the intake, you know, pulls in air from. If you spray just a little bit of carb cleaner in there, that'll tell you if you're getting fuel or not. Again, this has already been gone through on this one, but fuel, spark, and compression, the only three things you need here. Obviously you need some timing too, which this could be an issue. You could be getting popping because the timing's off, but so we know we're getting spark, we know we're getting fuel at this point. The only thing left is compression. So either that or the timing's off, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull the valve cover and figure out exactly what's going on. So the valve cover on these, again, it is pretty much the same on all those different engines. Some of them you'll have to do a little bit different just because of the design. This one over here, you've actually got to take the plastic cover off here in order to access it. So you'll have to take the screw out of the top and remove this whole cover to get to your valve access. But not a big deal whatsoever. Pretty easy to check. Last screw here, these are just 10mm bolts. When you go to remove it, you can either take the breather tube off on this side, or you can take it off from the back side here. So I normally like to pull it off from the back side, and then you want to be careful because the gasket on the bottom can rip. So a lot of times it gets stuck to both sides. You can see it kind of stuck around the corners a little bit here. I think we'll go ahead and replace this. Ooh, as we get everything back together. Well, there's the problem. That's pretty easy to spot there. So that's definitely not good. So what this is, that's your rocker arm, and it apparently is not rocking onto the valve, and there's a reason for that. Either the valve is stuck or the push rod's bent. So let's take the push rod out. It looks perfect to me. I don't really see anything wrong with it. And there's one on each side. There's one under this side also. You put it back through the guide, get back down there. See if we can't get this back on. Yeah. So what appears to have happened here is that the valve is actually stuck in the open position there. So as it's trying to push, there's so much play here in and out, you can take that and move it back and forth. So much play there that you're not getting anything whatsoever. These studs can back out. If you look right directly under, this should be 100% solid. There's a nut on the back side. That should be 100% solid, both of them, against your guide plate, which is where your valves go upon and ride in and out. If that has any space in between there, you're going to want to tighten that back up before you go any further. This is all still tightened back down. I will double check that before we put everything together, but basically what we're going to do at this point is focus on this valve. So easiest way to do that, you can either go ahead and take it out. Well, I think we got a 14mm and a 10mm. Go ahead and get the 14 on the back. Well, that didn't want to work real well. It's super on there. All right. Yeah, those are pretty tight. So you will need feeler gauges to put them back together if you're going to take them apart. You could probably do this without taking them apart. Most of the times you can, just working them in and out. But I'll show you how to fix this real easily. So a lot of times it is the intake valve. This is the case here. It can be the exhaust valve also. Either one of these valves can do exactly the same thing, cause you the same issue. And I'm just going to remove the retainer and then the rocker piece here. This is what I was talking about. Make sure it is secure. Make sure it's tight against here, because if not, that'll just back out again and you'll be right back in the same boat. So it looks like just a 1/2 inch. You can use a deep well or something. Make sure that that's nice and tight. So, oop, it's actually a 12. So get you a 12, make sure that's tight. But you see this valve, even though there's nothing pushing it in, it is all the way pushed to the inside. So if we move the other one, when it is all the way up, this one is still down about, I'd say at least 3/8 of an inch in further than the other one. So the easiest thing to do, the quick way to fix it, nice and easy, and 9 times out of 10 they don't come back or cause any more issues. We're going to try to take this off just so we don't ruin the gasket in the process. Yeah, it looks pretty bad if I... It's really hard to get these off sometimes and keep them, you know, good to go. But it can be done. See, there's that, and it'll go back on there and not cause any leaks. I'm going to get a 12 and remove that completely. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the stud to make it a little easier for us. There's kind of tight quarters in here. And it didn't like that whatsoever. And that's just the bolt there for the rocker. You do want to make sure those are nice and tightened up when you put them back, because otherwise they will work themselves out. So heavy end goes in, or fat end goes in, I mean. And you can use either a regular screwdriver here. You can use anything you want. You just want to basically pry against the side, and you want to try to move this valve back out towards us. So it's not wanting to work. I'm going to go ahead and grab a hammer and guide it all the way back in. So I'm just going to put something against here kind of as a dead blow and go ahead and drive that in. Once you get all the way to the inside, which it looked like it popped back up a little bit right there, you can throw some oil, you can throw some, this is penetrating grease on it. You can throw anything on that valve, just kind of lube everything up. Oil is definitely preferred. It's, you know, what you're going to have in here anyway, but normally you'll drive it all the way to the back and it'll stay at the bottom. Oop, that popped right back up. Freed up instantly, and it's free now. Essentially, you want to drive it all the way in, and then you want to pry out with either a screwdriver or something to get that to pop back out. And once it pops back out, move it in and out, move it around, you know, make sure that you've got good action out of it. You should be able to push that in and it should spring back instantly. You know, a lot of times they just sit for a long time. They'll get a little bit of moisture or something in them, get a little bit of surface rust, and it just won't pop back up. So it'll pop right off of there, and then you have issues. I mean, now you can try to spin it too as you're going. Not gonna hurt anything. Now, do be careful if you push this too hard and then push it down and out, you can take that spring and that retainer off of there. So if you push it in and then pull it down, that's gonna take your retainer here off the top, and then you're gonna have to worry about getting that back off on there, which is definitely possible from the outside, but it's a little more difficult than having the whole thing apart. So it looks like we got just great action. It was just that stuck valve going on. Many times when this happens, it will bend the push rod. So you wanna make sure you investigate that. Make sure neither one of the push rods is bent and neither one of the studs is backed out. Pending they haven't backed out, at this point you've got everything lubed up. Nothing else is stuck. All you need to do is put everything back together. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a dry fit here. So next you want to go ahead and just remove the spark plug so it's easy to turn over. We can test everything. You can put your finger on the push rod here, and as you're moving it in and out, your finger should move in and out. So it should be stimulating, pushing in and out. So everything there looks to be working well. Again, this should snap back instantly every time, which it is. 0.005 on the intake, 0.007 on the exhaust. What these normally run at. Throw them all back together here. If you don't have a feeler gauge, honestly, as long as you get it pretty tight there, you're going to be just fine. You don't want it too tight to where you're hitting it before it gets to top dead center. So what you want to do is you can measure on a screwdriver and stick it down the spark plug hole, mark when it gets to top dead center, and then from there you can mark when it gets a 1/4 inch past that point. So we go to top dead center while we're pulling it over. Top dead center is right there. So what we can do is we can just mark that on the unit, and then you can measure a 1/4 inch down from there, 1/4 inch up, because that's going to be down on the piston. So if you mark a 1/4 inch here, once it gets to that mark, you know that that's a 1/4 inch past top dead center. So if we go more, there we go. Now we're at that second line as it goes in. So we know we're a 1/4 inch past top dead center here. Oop, and I think that's on the wrong stroke. So you do want to be on the compression stroke. Let's see. Alright, here we go. Alright. Now go past for us. Yep, okay. So they should both be relatively at the same level at this point. 0.005 and 0.007 is not going to give you a bunch of difference as far as feel goes. It should feel like, you shouldn't be able to feel like you can pull it in and out really at all. If you can feel like that, it's spaced too far. So you'll go ahead and tighten that up. And you want this to be able to move in and out freely. So shouldn't be tight in there. It should be free to move in and out as long as nothing's binding it up. If it moves in and out freely, then you know that's where you're at. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get everything tightened to that point. Again, if you don't have it, if you feel confident enough, you can do it without it. That is not an issue as long as you don't over tighten it. Normally they'll stay perfectly fine and you won't have any issues whatsoever. So I'm gonna go ahead and, usually I'm almost perfect with these going. So if you do tighten it up and then you have issues or need to loosen it or anything, be careful because you can back that stud out again if you haven't tightened it tight enough. It can definitely back that out. And if you slip on this, you may get a cut. I'll spare you the details on that one, but this is about as sharp as a razor blade there. So, all right. Go ahead and tighten this guy down. A little too tight still. We're gonna go a little looser. Normally when you tighten it up, they'll come quite a bit. Again, a little too tight. All right. It's feeling just about perfect to me. Just about perfect. And it goes in. It's maybe a little bit tight on there, but I'm not going to stress about that whatsoever. Just going to go ahead and finish tightening it up here. Okay, so we got that there and that there, and it's still just a little bit tight. Go a little bit looser. And even though my gauge told me that was okay, I didn't like that at all. It just didn't feel right. So you should be able to pull it over now. You should be able to see your valves move in and out. You shouldn't get anything other when both of these are off. See, that's still just a little bit tight on there. One more time. Trial and error. You want this to be right. You don't want it to be wrong, that's for sure. All right. Oh yeah, now we're talking. All right, no bent push rods, no other issues. Everything's tightened up. Again, make sure it's all the way tight, otherwise you'll have issues. Go ahead and put the spark plug back in and then get everything finished up and tested. So, spark plug. Back in. Go with our gasket back on here and then the cover. Okay. Again, if that gasket's not in good shape, go ahead and replace it. Not a big deal, but many times they don't survive even just taking them off once. They're almost always ruined, but in this case, I think it's going to be okay. We're still going to go ahead and replace it, but it'll take a few days for that to come in, so I'm not going to bore you with a minor detail like that. Alright. Don't want to over tighten it because you can split it that way too, with the way that it's designed. You just want to snug them up. Okie doke. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to pull this thing back a little bit. Let's see how this thing runs. Alright. Throw it on choke for a second. So something simple like that, where the valve got stuck just because of a little bit of moisture in the unit, or that it's got in it somehow. Nice and easy, quick to fix. That's all you have to do, and that'll take care of all the problems on it. So again, it's the same as on the MTD Pros, the Craftsmans, the Yard Machines, the Cub Cadets. All exactly the same process on these, all exactly the same symptoms and diagnosis or troubleshooting. Now, if you're not getting spark at the original measure, you can check your kill switch, or you can check the key switch. A lot of them have different keys that can be pulled out. Many people forget about those when they're trying to do anything. So, or they'll leave it just partially pulled out, kind of like this one is, just so they sit in there, and then you're not getting any spark. So that should get you everything you need to know if your snowblower's popping or cracking, or any of those things when you're trying to start it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.